Okay, we're starting Siman Reish Samach Zayin, and these are the halachos of Tefilla on Erev Shabbos. Says the Mechaber in Sif Aleph, but Tefillas HaMincha be'Erev Shabbos ein neuflin al pneihem. We don't say Tachanun at Mincha on Erev Shabbos, says the Mishnah Berurah, b'pnei shu samach lachnos Shabbos, because it's close to when we bring in Shabbos. Kein kosav halavush. For kosav ha-primagodim, v'nira du hadin k'shemispala mincha gedoyla ach chatzos. Even if we're davening mincha gedoyla, we're davening early, and it's not so close to Shabbos, nami ein neuflin al pneihem, we still don't say Tachanun. V'chein misha eichel pas ach chatzos, gam kein ein loim al naras bovel, ki im shir amalis. V'ayim be'alocha. How interesting. So therefore, you're davening on it, you're having a sandwich on Erev Shabbos. I don't think I've ever seen this. I don't remember this. You say Shir Malis and not Al Naras Bavel. Interesting. Okay. Says the Mechaber Seif Beis. Makdimin Lispal Arvis Yosef b'Mosachol. On Friday night, the minhag is you daven Mariv earlier, and to bring in Shabbos earlier. We plug Hamincha Yochel Lahadlik, and you can already daven. You could light candles or kabel Shabbos b'Tefillas Arvis, and you can kabel Shabbos with Mariv already from plug Hamincha. V'lechol miyad, and then you can eat straight away. V'ayin le'el siman reish lamed gimel kates l'mishar and shir plug Hamincha. Okay, says the Mishnah Berurah Beis Makdimin mishum davin nehigi alma lekabel aleihem Shabbos miki sorry Shabbos. I lost the place. Mishum daven nehigi alma lekabel aleihem Shabbos miki pasach hashliach tzibur baruch hu. Right. When the shliach tzibur says baruch hu, that's when we're knowing to do it. Or like we said earlier from Mizmor Shir or Boi v'Shalom. Lekach me'anochem lahagdim nispal al-arvis kadei lahagdim hakabol Shabbos. And therefore there is this concept on Erev Shabbos to bring it in a little that much earlier. V'adin yochel lekabel of Shabbos kodim tefillas arvis, and you can actually be mekabel Shabbos before Mariv. You don't have to wait for Mariv to do it. You can just say, I'm being Mekabel Shabbos. Or me plug hamincha. So the earliest time to do that is plug hamincha. Mash medira magen avram. Da'afila nogin nispal Mariv bizmano. Even those people who throughout the week are noeg to daven Mariv bizmano, i.e. at night, mutar nispal b'lel Shabbos b'yom. They're allowed to daven Mariv on Friday night early. Or bilvad shim plug hamincha ve'eloch. So long as it's after plug hamincha. The kim of the mitzvah lahosif mechol lakodesh, since the mitzvah is to be moisif mechol lakodesh, to add a bit of weekday onto Shabbos, and ukvar kvil Shabbos olav, and he's already been mekabel Shabbos earlier. Yochel this mechal das hasovrim david kalayla in tefillah. He can be soimech on the opinion which says this is considered nighttime for Mariv purposes. So that means, and what is that talking about? Of course, that is talking about the famous machlekes Rabbi Yehuda and the Rabbanon. The Quint Rabbi Yehuda that you can daven mincha until plug mincha, and you daven Mariv after plug mincha. According to Rabbanon, you can daven mincha till night, and then Mariv after night. So therefore, you can be soimech on Rabbi Yehuda's shitta and daven mincha from daven Mariv from plug mincha onwards. However, hanoei kein yizoal kol ponim b'Erev Shabbos nispal mincha kedim plug mincha. True, you can daven already from Plag HaMincha, but try and daven Mincha before Plag HaMincha. Why? Because to avoid you sort of contradicting yourself. Hainu, what does that mean? Zman Mincha nimshach rak ad Plag HaMincha, like I just said. But according to Rabbi Yehuda, in the Gemara there in Brachas, you can daven Mincha until Plag HaMincha, or Misham ve'elech uzman tefillas arvis, and from then onwards you can daven Mariv. Well, the Das Rabbanon is Zman Minchu ad Seif HaYom, was Zman Mariv hu ba'erev, and you daven Mincha till night and then Mariv afterwards. And therefore, if a person is davening Mariv early on Friday night, which is what the Mechaber says one can do to be Mekabel Shabbos early, try and, if you can, to daven Mincha before Plag HaMincha to avoid the Tarata Desasra, that you're not you're davening Mincha after Plag like the Rabbanon, and davening Mariv before the Zman, like Rabbi Yehuda, which is a Tata Desasra. You're having it both ways. V'yesh Abram, the Betzibur yesh lahakol espal Mariv mi'bo'ed yom, af im espal mincha achar Plag HaMincha. When it comes to a tzibur, even though you've davened Mincha after Plag, it's okay to daven Mariv before night. V'nirli she'en nismechzeh rak kishum espal Mariv al kol ponim b'ben hashmoshes or b'shas hatchag. One should only rely on this if you're already davening Mariv after Shkia, which already possibly can be considered nighttime for the Rabbanon. Or al yedei adchak, it's going to be something. It's going to be difficult otherwise. Avuloi kashu adayin vadayim. Not when it's like sort of bright daylight. Or kriyasha before shki, in other words. Or kriyashma yachsav yikra kashu vaday laila va'ayim be'alocha. And you should certainly, if you're davening Ma'ariv early, you need to say kriyashma again when it is vaday laila. Now, this is interesting. So this is l'maisa what we do. Certainly here in England, where in the summer Ma'ariv is going to be very late. It's going to be 10:30, 10:38 is the latest Motzei Shabbos. So to wait till plug, the latest plug is 7:37, 7:38 around then. So if you're waiting to daven, Kabbalah Shabbos, after that it's going to be very late. By the time you get home, it's late already, 8:30, and for the kids and everything else. So, but in Eretz Yisrael you don't see that. In Eretz Yisrael, and therefore all the shuls here, they daven Ma'ariv before Nacht on Friday night. And do they avoid the Statat to the Sasra? Some do, some don't. I'm not sure exactly. But in Eretz Yisrael, it seems they're more machmeh. If you take a look at footnote 6, he talks about making early Shabbos in Eretz Yisrael. It's interesting. Paragraph 6 in the footnote. Uledas hagra kosav behalacha le'el shegam b'leil Shabbos yesh lahakpid l'spal aris bizmano afil mish mispal b'yechidus. That one should try, according to the Gan, to daven Ma'ariv even on Friday night, or especially, even on Friday night, after Zman, after night. If you jump to the next paragraph, and according to many Bnei Ashkenaz, the Rabbi Yashav writes, one should try and daven Friday night at Nacht and not before, because there are certain concerns with davening before the Zman. And in exceptional situations you can be makel. Even if you've got a young family, and in the summer months it's difficult to daven late. He's got a good eitzah. You know what you do? So daven Kabbalah Shabbos with the early minyanim, and then after Kabbalah Shabbos, after Mizmor, you come home, you have your Suda, and then you go daven Ma'ariv later. Now, I haven't seen this. The minhag seems to be in Eretz Yisrael that either you make early Shabbos and you do the whole lot then, and you just have your Suda, or you just wait till Nacht. But this idea of davening Kabbalah Shabbos and then coming home having your Suda and then going out to Ma'ariv after your meal of Friday night, that's what Rabbi Yashav says would be better if you're worried about the kids. Okay. You say that. All right, let's carry on. So,
they all Mekabel Shabbos.
Yeah, the Mekabel Shabbos, and they're having their Suda Shabbos.
They're bringing in Shabbos early.
Yeah, they're bringing Shabbos early, and they're doing the whole thing. So Rabbi Yashav is saying that even if you've got children, it's better to do, if you want to do that, then do that, have the Suda, and then daven Ma'ariv later, that you should try and avoid davening Ma'ariv early. Okay. He says, if you carry on, he says, she quotes from Shlomo Zalman, he says, Lo ha'sedaita neicha shebekam mekom Eretz Yisrael henigu lispal arvish shel Shabbos in b'yid yom. Rabbi Shlomo Zalman wasn't very happy that a lot of communities in Eretz Yisrael are making early Shabbos, given she'ein zeh nochen sheba'isa mokem etzel chelik me'atzibur kvar Shabbos ve'etzel chelka adayin chol. Rabbi Shlomo Zalman wasn't happy with the fact that there are some people it's Shabbos and some people it's weekday. We're used to this here in London. There are different times for minyanim.
There's no community there.
Yeah, well, it depends what time of year and where. But here in England, we're quite used to that. But in Eretz Yisrael, it's not so mukabal. But Rav Shem Zalman wasn't happy with it.
There's no community in Yerushalayim.
But there's so many different shuls and yeah.
The hours are different.
Yeah. The shkir is the Ben Hashmoshes is much shorter there, so it's easier there, and it doesn't get as late and extreme as it does here in London. That's the issue. Okay, let's carry on Mishnah Berurah. Dalet. Yeah, we plug a mincha yochel lahadlik with the Kabbalah Shabbos. Says, we plug a mincha yochel lahadlik with the Kabbalah Shabbos. Says in Mishnah Berurah, avol kodim we plug a mincha ein yochel lahadlik with the Kabbalah Shabbos. Before plug, you can't. It's just too early. V'afilim b'diavad ispalel tefillah Shabbos tzorich lachzor ispalel. If you did it by mistake before plug, so then you got to daven again. It's just too early. Plug a mincha yesh omrim du shar revia kodim alayla. How do you calculate plug? It's either an hour and a quarter halachic hours before Nacht or before Shkia. And then those people who daven early, let's say most of us, in the summer months, we daven at 7 o'clock, 7:30. and it's still bright, broad daylight outside, and we come home, we have the Suda, so we can eat, but we can still eat straight away. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Sifkat and Hey, Hatam, you can eat straight away, given the Kibbutz of Shabbos, for you, this is now proper Shabbos, and you can make Kiddush and you can eat straight away, which is, of course, is common practice, certainly in the summer months. And you can even finish, if you daven at, say, 7 o'clock, like here it's 7 o'clock, right? And you can get home at 8 o'clock, and you can have your Suda, and let's say we finish at, say, 10 o'clock, and it can still be light outside, in the height of summer, because Motzei Shabbos is 10:38. There are those who argue and say, it's important to try and stretch out your meal until night time to have at least a kazayas after nacht. The time, and the reason is the Kim da Hashalosh Shudos Yalfinu Mimach Tichsiv Achluhu Hayom Ki Shabbos Hayom Lashem Bo'in Shikayim Bo'is Hayom Shabbos Atzmei. You should do it on the day of Shabbos itself. Ulechatchila Nochel Nochosh L'Divreihem, to have at least a kazayas after nacht. Okay, and then we said Lechol Miyad Ve'im La'acha She'Ispal Ma'ariv Ein Atalai Lechatzi Shah Yesh Lizoy Shelo Laschiv V'Lechol Eli Yamdin Ad Oerev Yachzav Yikra Kriya Shema. If you're very close tonight, better to wait a little bit and then to say Kriya Shema and then eat after that. Because according to most, you haven't been yotze your mitzvah of Kriya Shema, and therefore you've got a chiyuv to do it at night time, and therefore you should just wait a little bit, say Kriya Shema, and then eat. If you want to be makel, no one's going to protest. All this is talking about eating. In Kriya Shema gufa, but regarding actually saying Kriya Shema again, to the Raisa, then ein lismech v'zoli kros b'layla say Kriya Shema. That even if you want to be soimich on the makel opinion and eat before night, which is what we all do in the summer, then certainly you need to say Kriya Shema again after night. Okay, let's just do Gimel. B'birchas hashkivenu eina chaysin b'shema Yisrael, Shema Amei Yisrael lo'ad. We don't conclude like that, like we do during the week. Elakim shegia ubesel knofech tastirenu oimer ufreis aleinu sukas shalom. Sorry, sukas shalom aleinu v'al Yerushalayim yiracha. Baruch atah Hashem aperes sukas shalom aleinu v'al kol Amei Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. So that's the ending of that, of the bracha of hashkivenu, is different on Friday night than it is during the week. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Sifkat and Zayin, to b'Shabbos ein tzrich shmira, and therefore we don't need to say Shema Amei Yisrael lo'ad, because ki haShabbos ba'atzma hu Hashem ereson, is Shabbos itself which protects us. So it says in 16, interestingly, v'af b'yontov shelo shaych b'tam zeh, because it's shmira for Shabbos, not v'yontov, kazav prima godim shemekol makom ein omrim b'Shema Amei Yisrael, shekim meshanim es hatfilas b'Shabbos meshan maf b'yontov. Since we changed the nusach on Friday night, we change it for yontov as well. Kadei shloi lezalzel b'yontov pekach shemispalim b'kamei b'mesachol. It'll be a zilzal if we go back to the weekday nusach on yontov, and therefore we stick to the ufreis aleinu on yontov as well, even though the shmira really is still needed. Okay, ha'omer ufreis, says the Mishnah Berurah Sifkat and Ches, rotzolema degam ki kel shemreinu lo yomar de lo k'minhagenu v'achrenim yishru aminag. Okay, v'aperes sukas v'mshachach v'omar shema Amei Yisrael. Yeah, it's tachas ha'peres sukas shalom. It's quite easy. But on Friday night, especially you're tired, and you just carry on in the weekday nusach and you say Shema Amei Yisrael lo'ad. So imnis katech dib. If you remember straight away, then yom miyad lachatevas lo'ad. You just finish Shema Amei Yisrael lo'ad. Then you straight away say haperes. Just and then that solves the problem. V'imshal kadei dibur. If you wait that amount of time, then you don't need to, you said it, fine, you finished off Hashkivenu, you said the wrong ending, not the end of the world, but you don't go back and say the Shabbos Nusach. So it's interesting, in 21, he says, Shegam Tefillas Arvis Sorach Lismeich Geula Tefilla, like the Gemara says, and therefore really you should say Baruch Atah Hashem Gal Yisrael. The Gemara says Hashkivenu is not considered it's Ma'osinian, and therefore is not considered a hefsek, and therefore you shouldn't really add in any insertions before Shemona Esra, because you're not being Somech Geula Tefilla. K'mavu b'Shulchan Aruch le'el. However, Mikomach Amiras v'Shomru ein nechshavas lehefsek. The point is, yeah, true. But I suppose the same svara applies. It's not considered a hefsek. But לפי מה שכוסף הטור, שעניון של אמיר זו היא שמיר שבס והרים, ישמר ישראל שתי שבוס אז מיד הם נגולים, and therefore it's a כאין הגאולה, וכן עם אמיר זו היא גם כאין מעין הגאולה, and therefore it's not a hefsek of that theme of גאולה, and therefore you're still being סומך גאולה לתפילה. והוסיף הלבוש, שגם בכל המועד, אם יוכל להוסיף פסוק בעניין המועד, Kiven shekol hamoedim hem zeichel yetzias Mitzrayim. So that's only good from V'shomru. But what about the Yom Tovim? Because all of those psukim are zeichel yetzias Mitzrayim. V'im kein echsheves amrosa kugula arichta. It's all like a long agula. Zeichel yetzias Mitzrayim is agula arichta k'mei shekosav ha'mishnah berurah kamon. But if you look at the next paragraph,
How does that help?
because it's agula
The
arichta.
next paragraph.
Oh, v'das hagra she'ein loy mashum pasuk lachash givenu. And you taka see that in Eretz Yisrael. You don't say v'shomru. Yeah. Kaddish is like the opening to the thing. And so what do you do? By the way, he said just last thing. Let's say you daven in a Gan minyan in Eretz Yisrael where they don't say v'shomru, but your personal minhag is to do. What should you do? Or other way around. You're like the like the God, not to say it, and you come to shul where they do say, what should you do? So he quotes the Tzemach Tzedek, Shelo Yomai Mohem, better to just don't say it. And if it goes, and if im nagul la'omrei, mispala bekvias, yesh ein nagim la'omrei, hargam rishim zam la'orach, she'ein etzarech la'omrei. So if you're davening in a Gan shul and your minhag is to say it, just keep shtum and do what the minhag is. Ein omra. Okay, say that.